Yo, 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 welcome to the show. Welcome to the Social Sunshine Podcast, episode 185. I am your hostess, Britney Crosson. Welcome back to another episode. Today is a solo episode where I am going to talk to you if you are not quite reaching that level of success that you want to be on social media. I have some very specific questions that you need to ask yourself to address the problem. And I really genuinely think that if you will do these things, if you will ask yourself these questions and address this, that it's going to make a humongous difference in your social media performance in general. All right, so here we go. So if you're feeling discouraged or if you're just not quite reaching what you want, let's dig in. Ask yourself these questions. The first one is, what does success on social media look like to you? Now, that may sound a little obvious and cheesy, but we've got to ask ourselves this question. It matters. Is it big numbers? Is it making an impact on people? Is it making sales? Is it personal enjoyment? Is it raising awareness for a cause? When you're honest with yourself about what social media success looks like to you, you can customize your efforts to accomplish it. And if it is big numbers, that's okay. That's nothing to be ashamed of. If you've been listening to me for a long time, I say we celebrate big numbers. But big numbers are not always what's needed for a business or a brand to thrive. It really depends on your situation. But if you say, look, to me, social media success is numbers. I'm going to feel successful if I have big numbers, then fine. If that's genuinely what it looks like to you, then that's fine, but you need to act accordingly and do whatever it takes to get whatever it takes and, within reason to get those big numbers. We're no cheating here. We're not buying followers. We're not doing anything shady, but you know what I mean? Otherwise, you do what it takes to get that. So what does success on social media look like to you? If it's not big numbers, what is it? One of those other things? It's to make an impact on human beings that need the thing that you're offering. Is it to raise awareness for your cause or for your nonprofit organization? Like, you have to get specific. What does success look like to you? Because success on social media is different for everybody. It's not the same. Okay, so that's the first question and probably the most important question of all when you're feeling discouraged about social media. Okay, second, am I doing everything I can to reach my version of success on social media? Now, if you don't know, then it's okay. You just need to learn. There's plenty of resources. This show is free. You can go to any episode and get free information on how to improve your social media presence. I run a membership called Small Biz Social Society that is great for that, because not only are you getting education like the classes and stuff that I teach, but we also have guest speakers coming in. We have group discussions. We have a community on Facebook. So you can learn that way as well. And I guess if you were here in Houston, you could hire my company, Fun Love Media, or you could hire someone in your area. But the point is that you have to figure out a way to reach that version of success on social media and actually start to have a plan. Now, I understand that at first you probably aren't going to have an exact plan. That's not how beginnings are they? Beginnings are beginnings, and they can be messy, and it can be a lot of trial and error. And social media has so many variables that even if you've been at it for a long time, you still have times of trial and error, right? But after a while, we gotta get into more of a mode of like being a little bit more strategic, having your routines, knowing what works and what doesn't mostly, and doing what feels best for you, and of course, what's best for your followers. So, am I doing everything I can to reach my version of success on social media? Very, very important question to ask yourself. Okay. The next thing you need to be thinking about if you're feeling discouraged about your journey on social media is, should I change platforms? All right. So if you've been showing up on the same platforms for years without reaching your version of success, maybe it's time for a change. Many times, I have seen someone have huge success on one platform and like barely any on the other, in comparison, right? Like, you might go and see somebody who's huge on TikTok and they have 1 million followers, no joke. And you go to their Instagram and they have like 2,200 and they don't even post consistently there. And it's not even like their thing. You see what I'm saying? Like you just never know. It varies from one to the next. Also, you could have something like me, for example, where my hub is Instagram and it just works really well for my brand right now. And it just makes sense and it has for years, right? And so even though on there I have less followers than I have on TikTok, I still do better on Instagram because there's more connection. That's where my people are. That's the app that works best for me. See what I'm saying? So like it's okay if like one app isn't working that well for you and maybe it's time for a change. And I know that's so hard if you've been doing the same thing for years, and I know a lot of you have. I mean, I see it a lot. I see it in all over the place. I see it in our clients and in students, members of the membership. I see it from people I know on social media, and sometimes it's just time for a change. Okay? So really, really give that some thought. And if you decide to make the change and really dive into another platform to see how it goes, it doesn't mean you have to leave the other one behind and never post there or just, neglect everything you've put in there. That's not what that means. It just means that maybe it's time to start experimenting elsewhere, see how that feels and work it in, and maybe you'll gradually shift. Maybe you'll be like, okay, look, I've been posting on Instagram for 6 fucking years and I still don't feel like I've reached that level of success that I want. And, I've been thinking about TikTok, haven't been really consistent on TikTok. I don't know, maybe I'd do better there, right? If this is what you're thinking, this is just an example. You would go and you would start creating content for TikTok and be consistent there. But maybe when you start, it's a smaller effort. And then maybe a couple weeks later, you increase your effort. And a couple weeks later, you increase it again. You really have to think about this and give yourself some sort of like routine and like almost like calendar to go by, so that way you know that you'll actually do it and be consistent about it. And then over time, if it seems like it's going pretty good on TikTok in this instance, you might just start to let everything shift and weigh heavier on TikTok and get lighter on Instagram. So like I said, it's not like some abrupt thing where you have to just neglect the current platforms. I just mean you might want to give it a shot. Okay, you just never know what kind of success you could see on another platform, because it's a whole new group of people and a whole new method and approach and everything. Okay, all right, the next question, wait, let's go back over what have we got so far. If you're feeling discouraged about social media, you're not quite reaching your goals, ask yourself these questions. The first one was, what does success on social media look like to me? It's very important. Second is, am I doing everything I can to reach that success? You might say you are, but are you really? Are you really? All right. Third is, should I change platforms? Maybe so. All right. And then the next one is, should I change my content? And look, this could be a major change for you and it can feel really uncomfortable. But if you have been at this for a long time, if you have been at this for several years and you are just not seeing the kind of progress you want to see, or it's just not feeling fulfilling or good to you, you really just might need to change the kind of content you're putting out altogether. Now, I don't mean change it and don't be you. You always want to be you. You always want to have that genuine feel and be authentic and all that cool stuff. But maybe if you're like stuck on just posting photos, then maybe you really should venture into video more. Or maybe it's the opposite. Maybe you're so into videos, but you want to grow on LinkedIn, and LinkedIn really doesn't call for a lot of aggressive video posting, right? It doesn't call for it the way that other platforms do. So maybe you need to get better at sharing photos with a caption. You see what I'm saying? Like, you might need to literally make a big change in the kind of content you're sharing, or even in the posts themselves. Not even just the type of post, maybe like what you're doing isn't working. Like, it's possible. What do they call it? You're beating a dead horse or something like that. Oh my God, that sounds so horrible when, when you really think about it. Like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry to all the horses. I just said that. But point is that, you know what I'm saying? Like, if it feels blah, why are you still there doing that same stuff? It's okay to change. It's okay to kind of almost reinvent yourself on social media. And you know what? Nobody's going to be mad at you, because if the shit wasn't working, then nobody's going to be probably too sad to see it go, maybe including you. Maybe you'll be excited for a change, right? So really, really, really consider that if you're feeling discouraged on social media. Okay. And then the final question I want you to ask yourself in this situation is, do I have things in order behind the scenes in my business? Okay. Because many times, if the other parts of your business, like behind the scenes, the stuff that's not social media, right? If they aren't in order, if they're not solid, if it's not focused, if your products aren't really in demand, and that could be a case with like especially service products like coaches and things, then your social media success, if you will, is going to reflect that, right? Like if everything's behind the scenes is just like a fucking mess, or you don't even really have a structure to your business very good, or or you're offering something that you've been trying to offer for the last 4 years and barely anybody wants to buy it. Like the thing is it's probably just, needing those changes. Like your product may not be in demand right now at all, or it may not be in demand for the kind of people you're reaching, or it may not even really align with you anymore, but you're just so fucking used to offering it, you just keep doing it. You see what I'm saying? And also other things being out of order behind the scenes. Like, it's smart to, and this is a whole other topic we won't get into because we could go on and on all day, but like it's really smart to have that kind of it's called a sales funnel. I'm going to get a little marketing nerd-ish on you, but the truth of the matter is that if you're really trying to build a business and have social media help you with that, then social media is essentially like this welcoming committee. It's like the beginning, it's the top of the funnel, if you will. It's like the place where people meet you and start to get to know you. And then they of course can come back and continue to enjoy your content, but like there needs to be stuff behind the scenes for them to go and get deeper in it with you, right? Like joining an email list and then getting those emails from you, or attending your webinar, or joining your membership, or attending your event, or even just shopping and buying your products. Like there's got to be more happening and more steps, and you've got this little yellow brick road you lead people on. And it usually begins with social media, because that's more of a broad, outreach sort of situation. And a lot of times I think that people really want social media to just snap, bring a sale, when usually the process is a little bit more complex and lengthy than that. And so when you really have it organized and say, you know what, yeah, okay, I want people to see me on social media, of course, right? And that's how they're getting to know me, and they're learning about my brand, and I'm helping them, and I'm getting to know them, and all that cool stuff. You're mingling, it's an online like networking party, but you've got to know what you want, what else you want to happen. And you've got to have that organized and structured behind the scenes. All right. So I, I can't stress enough how much social media cannot completely save a business on its own. I have had clients like that where shit was going downhill already, and they're like, oh, let me hire you and see if that fixes everything. And it's just it's not going to. I mean, hey, are there exceptions? Of course, always. I mean, is it possible? Sure, I guess so. But it's really, the odds are really pretty low of social media just like solving all of your business problems and making something just magically appear. There has to be more to it. You would not believe how many social media creators have tons and tons of followers, and they make these cool videos and all this stuff, but there's nothing else happening. Like there's either no monetization, there's no brand building, there's no business behind the scenes, there's no, cause, organization. Like they're just creating the content and maybe haven't figured out that detail yet. So just because numbers are big doesn't necessarily mean that the bank account is big, and vice versa. Okay. So I want you to keep that in mind. All right. So here we go. We'll go back over this before we wrap it up. If you're feeling discouraged about social media, here we go. You're going to ask yourself, what does success on social media look like to me? Then you're going to ask yourself, am I doing everything I can to reach my version of success on social media? And then, should I change platforms? Should I change my content? And number 5 is, do I have things in order behind the scenes? Those are the 5 important things I want you to go over with yourself. And I bet if you have been discouraged, especially if you've been discouraged for a while, you're going to need to address at least one of those fucking things. Yeah, for sure. We've all been there. You're not alone. Okay. And before we wrap this up, I want to touch on the second one, which is, am I doing everything I can to reach my version of success on social media? And I'm just going to give you some hard truth here. If your version of success on social media is big numbers, which a lot of people, that does represent success. I get it. I feel the same way. I consider that a success when a video reaches tons of people, and that's great. We should celebrate that. But if you're wanting that and you're not doing what it takes to get that, then it's on you. And if you really dig deep and think about it, you know what it takes. Now, could you possibly need help and guidance? Of course. We're not all just natural marketers, right? Like, not everybody knows what to do, but you know deep down what it takes. It's grabbing attention. It's getting people's attention. And look, getting attention doesn't mean, dressing in your most, sexy outfit and showing off the bod, or it doesn't, it doesn't have to be the stereotype. Getting attention, you can get attention in all sorts of ways, but you have to get people's attention. You have to get people's attention, and you have to be willing to do what it takes, as long as it's like, not shady shit. Do what it takes to get that attention. Bottom line. And if that's not what you're doing, you're not going to see the big numbers. It's just not going to happen. People get attention in different ways. You may think about my content and be like, oh, well, it's easy for you to say, Britney, you're dancing on a fucking treadmill. Yeah, and that gets attention, doesn't it? But it's also fun for me, and it feels good, and it makes sense, and it's like, why not do it, right? But other people get attention other ways. Think about really, really like inspiring videos that just make you want to go and fucking reach for the stars. What did they do? Somebody was speaking and they really spoke to your heart. Or maybe they showed this beautiful video of a waterfall with the perfect music behind it, right? Or maybe if somebody is trying to be heartfelt, like this gal I know on social media the other day, it was the sweetest thing ever. It was her parents' 50th anniversary, and her dad like re-proposed to her mom, and they're older, of course, and so it was just precious, and like that grabbed attention. And that was not, some cute girl in a bikini. But they grabbed my attention in that way. That's what I mean by grabbing attention. There's all different kinds of ways to grab attention. You have to figure that out. So if you want bigger numbers on social media, you have got to cut the crap and realize that you're probably not doing what it takes. Now, are there always exceptions? There always are. I always have to make sure and say that, because I don't ever want it to be like 100% like it's black and white, because it's not. There's so much gray area in social media, as there is in life. But you have to keep in mind that if you're not reaching for the stars to get people's attention, you're not going to hit the big numbers. Bottom line. All right. So come to grips with that and think, if I really want to see these big numbers, what can I do? What can I do? And like I said, if you want guidance and you want a community to be in to get this kind of support from me, of course, and my guest speakers that come in, but also from the members themselves. Look, Small Biz Social Society is not just a membership for beginners that don't know how to use social media at all yet. There are people on there that have been using social media for years, that have great ideas, and that really support each other in this whole social media journey. I highly recommend you check it out. The day that this episode is coming out is May. Okay, so today's May 8th as this episode is coming out, which is, we are open for enrollment. We're open for enrollment May 8th, 9th, and 10th of 2023. Just those 3 days. And we won't be open again for enrollment for a good while. These 3 days, you can hop in. It's $18 a month. There's classes on all the main social media platforms. There's a masterclass on email marketing. We have guest speakers. We have 6 a year that are fantastic, that have all different kinds of like specialties and things when it comes to social media and business. And like I said, you have the community. We have group sessions together on Zoom. We have a Facebook group. It's just the best place to be if you love social media and you're just on this journey, and you'll be with other people that are also on the journey. Also, by enrolling May 8th, 9th, or 10th of 2023, that means that you are in time to come to New Orleans. Okay, so we're going to go to New Orleans. It's our second annual retreat for Small Biz Social Society. It's happening in June 2023. And the registration for the New Orleans retreat closes actually on May 11th, 2023. So you need to enroll in Small Biz Social Society today, tomorrow, or the next day, May 8th, 9th, through 10th. And then you're going to right then register for the event in New Orleans. You're going to come spend the weekend with me and with other content creators in New Orleans. We're going to have so much fun. We're going to stay at Hotel Monteleone, and we're going to do all of the fun New Orleans things. We're going to have a group retreat day. I'm going to teach a smartphone photography class along with my Fun Love Media team. We're going to do photo shoots with a local photographer in New Orleans. I'm so freaking excited. If you love social media and you want to be a part of a group of people that also love social media and that are building businesses and brands on social media, Small Biz Social Societies for you. Come join and hang out with us in New Orleans. Thank you so much for listening to this. I hope that it helped you. I hope that it was maybe a reality check or kind of, a little shake of the shoulders to get you thinking what you need to be thinking about so that you can improve your social media journey and have all of the success on social media that you absolutely deserve. You deserve to be seen and heard, and I really want that for you. And I truly hope that this helps. Thank you so much for listening today, and I'll talk to you later.